Today on Toy Shiz, we're headed to the Archie Comics TMNT universe to check out Krang's bangin' new revenge body. Oh, welcome back everyone, Toy Shiz here, and we're back yet again for another NECA Toys Archie TMNT Adventures video. I absolutely love this line. I walked into my local Walmart and I did a little skip down the aisle because I could see it. Lo and behold, they had the brand new Shredder / Krang, or we'll call him Shrang or Credder, whatever you want to call it. This, again, being from the TMNT Adventures series, the comic book series by Archie Comics, of which I'm having a blast with these. This, I'm sure a lot of people are going to go, what the heck am I looking at? Do not fear, there is a Shredder head in the box, but you have that gorgeous Ken Mitchroney artwork all over it, and you get some nice photography of the figures along with Ace Duck. He should be the next one up if everything goes according to plan. Here's everyone involved with the creation of these figures. Thank you very much for that. And here's the barcode. Mine came from Walmart. That's where they're hitting first. It's not exclusive. It's just first to market, so keep an eye out if you are looking. This particular, we'll say Shredder / Look for Shredder, comes from the 3-issue miniseries in the TMNT Adventures, spanning issues number 23 through 25. You have to think about the Archie TMNT series as kind of an offshoot / it's its own universe from the cartoon TMNT. While it thoroughly begins the same as the cartoon TMNT and shares a lot of the origin points, eventually it branches off and does its own thing, and that's really where Shredder falls in. If you were wondering why he is in all blue with some purple, that's how he has always largely been drawn within the Archie series. Even from the beginning, he's always just kind of looked like that. The bulkiness has changed, but the bulkiness definitely changes on who's drawing him. But yes, on the actual covers of the TMNT Adventures, when you'd have Shredder, he'd be in the same sort of cartoon colors that we all know. But in the details of this new KRANGIFIED Shredder, with the help of Belly Bomb, Shredder, and this was always a thing. When I read this as a kid, I had never thought of Krang in this way. Krang is, his whole shtick has kind of been going after a new robotic body, but the idea that he can take over other people's bodies, it's kind of weird, but it also kind of works. And again, it just makes for a interesting visual, which then translate to an interesting action figure. If you're wondering how all this ends, well, this is where it kind of branches off between the cartoon and then the comic book continuity. This is one of the last times you see Shredder for a long while until he goes to the future and hangs out with Armagon and Verminator X. Hopefully we see comic book Archie Comics versions of those characters. We already got the Arcade Classics one with the Tournament Fighters Armagon, but Krang goes away, never to be seen again, and that's where we kind of get into various other foes, villains for the TMNT in the TMNT Adventures, and it was always just kind of interesting. It wasn't the usual Shredder and Krang plan of the week. That's how it was nicely differentiated, and that's really why I love the TMNT Adventures series and why I love what NECA Toys is doing here. So this is going to be an absolute blast. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at the brand new KRANGIFIED Shredder from the NECA Toys Archie Comics TMNT Adventure series. Here we go. And so now here's everything taken out of the box. And like I said, this might be a hard sell for some people that don't know that there is a Shredder head in the box, because this is one of the best Shredders ever made. He comes with this large bladed melee weapon. We'll just say it's nicely painted. It has that comic book look to it with the black line work. And yes, this Shredder uses it well, holds it well with all the accompanying hands. He looks fantastic. He looks menacing. And yes, when Krang takes over, this is the weapon of choice. And that's also another interesting note, that while controlling Shredder, Krang can't feel any pain, but Shredder definitely can. You also get Shredder's bonsai tree. Now, this is very cool because throughout the, we'll say, 3-issue arc, you see this popping up, and it really does mean a lot to Shredder, and it means a lot to me that NECA Toys had the consideration to put this in the box. And see what I mean? It shows up everywhere in this 3-issue mini arc and is Shredder gets away from Krang, yeah, that's the first thing the Shredder goes for, is to take his little bonsai tree with him. You get a bunch of extra hands, open hands, item holding hands, fisted hands, and then you have the actual Shredder hands with the blades, because this Shredder definitely needs him. Now, his hands go back and forth, but the bladed ones just look infinitely cooler. I love the coloring on this. A lot of people have been asking, why is he so blue? Well, again, like in the comic books, this is what Shredder looked like. The shading is superb. I love the blue on top of the whites, the black shading, the gauntlets. Everything works so well. This is a very menacing Shredder, and he's pinless. That's a nice upgrade. NECA Toys, the head portrait, the mask, it's the right size. It just looks fantastic. Love it. Just absolutely love the way this looks. And you get plenty of articulation with it. The cape is nicely done as well, although I think this is a reuse of the prior Shredder cape that we got with previous offerings, which is not a problem by any means, but you can clearly see with this new Shredder mold, he has more of a chest, you can see, unless you drape the cape down. But a bendy wire cape, oh man. Now that, see, we're getting a little spoiled with McFarlane. NECA Toys, bendy wire capes. That's what I'm talking about. Hopefully the new cartoon Shredder, the more ultimate one coming out, has those. Be very careful with the spikes, which this guy has every which way. They are a lot more gummy this time around, but don't force them too much. Don't just think, oh, I can just ignore them. Just keep them in mind, but I like that they're a little bit more gummy than they're going to snap off, that kind of thing. Plenty of articulation. The shoulder pads will definitely move around with you, and I like that you can rotate the gauntlet. I love that. The wrists are great. Everything moves. Everything is very fluid. I did not have to heat anything up on this guy. He actually has quite a bit of an ab crunch, a lot more than we have seen with prior, we'll say, cartoon Archie offerings for NECA Toys in the TMNT realm. Nothing in the way of a waist, unless mine is stuck. You can't really get underneath it. The drapings right there in the front kind of inhibited the articulation a little bit. Not by much, but in kicking forward, yes. Kicking off to the side, no. But it's a bit of a heavier plastic. It's not light by any means. You got double jointed knees, double jointed elbows, and yes, you have a bit of a swivel at the boot, which you can rotate those front pads with the spikes on them. Plenty of articulation in the feet, peg holes on the bottom of the feet so you can get him going, and all those Foot Clan ninjutsu poses that you would like to put this Shredder in. But then you also have Krang. And I'm going to tell you, if you get a chance to go through a few of them on the shelf, make sure you get yourself a good looking one. Look at the eyes. That's the main thing. And the paint around the mouth. Some of it kind of got sloppy. I managed to get myself a good looking one, but just something to keep in mind. This Krang is very well done. He's very Archie Comics, and he has limited articulation in his little tendrils in the front. They'll just kind of swivel around. It's not a whole heck of a lot, but I do like the expression and the fact that he is, this time around, a head portrait. Because remember, you have Belly Bomb, you have Slash. Slash came with Krang right here, and we even talked about this, and I figured with NECA Toys' TMNT reputation that we would see eventually something like a Krangified Shredder. This new Krang is smaller than Slash's Shredder, as you can plainly see. I like Slash's better. I think that it works overall better in the face. It's more of the Archie look. It's a little bit of a different style. It's not terrible by any means, but I wish you had the option where either one of these could have been the head portrait. I think that would have been just a nice touch to kind of have that. But regardless, they're both great, but I like Slash's face better. But regardless of what I want to do, this is the head portrait we have to go with because it's a head portrait. And yes, to have that with Belly Bomb in the background, even though Belly Bomb doesn't have his scrubs, maybe we could see that as a reissued Belly Bomb. We're already getting the comic covers version. But I like that, yes, there's still plenty of articulation for the Krang head. It's pretty cool. It doesn't get in the way of the cape. The cape is removable for those of you wondering. You just have to pull the head portraits off, and then you have to constantly rearrange the little bits of the cloth in the front, and it kind of bunches up. But that's neither here nor there. Because with this new Krangified Shredder, we have completed the trifecta of this 3-issue mini arc from Slash to Belly Bomb, and now Krang or Shrang, whatever you want to call him. This is wonderful to have. Now, if you're wondering, how does the new Shredder compare to, let's say, the cartoon Shredder? And that goes with the arcade Shredder as well. He's a lot bigger. He's a lot better. This is a very nice shredder, even when it comes down to Krang. Yes, it looks great. I am very much looking forward now to the updated cartoon shredder that is coming soon. And also the inevitable, we'll say. Hopefully, maybe we'll see these at New York Toy Fair. I would love to have some Archie Comics TMNT besides the wrestlers. But yes, this Krangified shredder definitely goes well with them. So in totality, this is a great figure. I love that they've done some improvements. He's pinless. I love the colors. They've captured the fun of the Archie Comics shredder. They got the Krang head portraits. It's a lot of fun. All the accessories, everything is wonderful. Now, I'm sure they'll eventually re-release a shredder, maybe give him the Oroku Saki head, maybe give him the little Krang bits that he's pulling off his face. But regardless, definitely pick him up. You've heard my thoughts. And until the next one, I'll leave you guys with that. Adios.